Worried about your drinking? Reserve your place on today's free Quit Drinking webinar and get a copy of my best-selling book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a gift just for turning up. www.stopdrinkingexpert.com. Hello, and happy Wednesday. Welcome in to another edition of the Happy Sober podcast. My name is Craig Beck, the author of Alcohol Lied to Me, and this is the channel that helps people escape the loop of problem drinking. So if you're worried about your alcohol use, you're in the right place. Job number one, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and ring the bell. Simple. All right, today we're going to ask the big question: to quit drinking completely or to cut back? That is the question. And the reason we're asking it today is because I got a great email from Kristen, who's doing the Stop Drinking Expert course. So I thought I'd read it to you because she makes some good points here. Hi, Craig. I'm writing to you re my goal of what I want from this Stop Drinking course. I started your course choosing A, to cut down on drinking. I didn't choose B, to quit drinking, as it seemed out of the question. Why? Well, because I enjoy the camaraderie and festivity of sharing a drink with friends and family. So far, I've cut my drinking in half. It's still too much according to the health guidelines, so here I am, wanting to cut down even more. Your approach is opening my eyes to the possibility of quitting altogether, because I'm beginning to see that I could still enjoy friends and family without the alcohol, and maybe even more. Great point in that final sentence. We'll come back to that. As I said, As you said, it's far easier to quit than cut back. And as you pointed out, I must believe there is something that alcohol offers me that I don't want to give it up. Thank you for suggesting that. Your book is really great, and I am an information gatherer sort of person. Your book is the fourth I've read, Alcohol Explained, The Easy Way to Control Alcohol, the big book, AA, only partially read, and then Alcohol Lied to Me. Nothing has made me quit altogether for long periods of time without using tons of willpower to not drink. But your approach has changed my mindset. So I don't want to drink is a novel idea that I believe could work for me. The reason I believe this is after watching day 4, she means day 4 of the course at the website, it made me realize that there are many beliefs in my life that alter my behavior. For example, things in my life that offer positive benefits like exercise. I have done religiously over the course of my life. This is because I was an exercise physiology major in college, and I understand the plethora of good health benefits. There are also things I would never do and have never even considered crossing those lines, like heroin or meth. I wear a mask on a plane when 90% of the people aren't. I wear earplugs in a spin class in 100 decibel noise volume, even though it doesn't look cool. I suntan under an umbrella so I don't end up with a cherry red sunburn. In short, I don't care too much what people think of me, and I follow my belief systems mostly 100% of the time. That is why I think your approach to helping me change my belief system is going to work for me. Thank you so much. You had mentioned a video that might help for people who are still thinking about cutting down on drinking versus quitting altogether. Would you mind sending me the link to that, please? I would really appreciate it. I'm loving your course. Many thanks, Kristen. I will send it to you, of course, Kristen, but I thought I would make this video as an additional one because your email was so good and raised so many good points. You're kind of doing this perfectly, Kristen. You're having this individual intellectual awakening, and that's the goal. The goal is for you to slowly realize that you don't want this thing anymore. And that's why I think this course is so effective, because you go back 15 years when I was at the peak of my drinking. If someone had come up to me and said, "You stop drinking now, you do as you're told," I would have just rebelled against them. And that's exactly what I did, because that's human nature. We are fiercely independent creatures. We come into this world alone and we will die alone. That's how it is. We don't like rules. We don't like regulations. We don't like other people telling us what to do. Now, that's not true for everyone. Some people are more supplicating than others, but generally speaking, even those people are thinking F you, even if they don't say it. So I saw this from my own experience, and to the point where at one point in the middle of my drinking, I thought I was going to die. I had this terrible pain in my right flank, and it had been there for like 6 months. I tried to ignore it. I changed the mattress on the bed, absolutely everything I could think of. I just to avoid considering the possibility that this might be alcohol related. And when I finally did pluck up the courage to go and see the doctor, he didn't say what I expected. My experience with doctors had always been, oh, it's an infection, or here's some antibiotics, off you go, it'll clear up, don't worry about it. And that day when I went to see my doctor, he didn't smile, he wasn't happy, he wasn't dismissive like they normally are. He looked me in the eye and he said, there's a real chance there's something very seriously wrong with you. I was like, what? You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say, don't worry, it's nothing. And I started going to the hospital to see consultants and having my liver scanned. And I remember it very clearly. There was one day when I cried my eyes out because I genuinely thought I'd killed myself. I genuinely thought, that's it. You've done it, Craig. You've finally done it. You've drunk yourself to death. You absolute selfish asshole. You absolute moron. You're going to make your children go to your funeral, you pathetic excuse of a man. I was so broken by it. And it stopped me drinking for 6 weeks. And then I started again. A doctor is looking me in the eye and saying, you got to stop drinking or you're going to die. And even that wasn't enough to stop me drinking. That's the power of this kind of thing we have inside ourselves. And so it dawned on me, the only way to make this easy is if it's your decision. If you come to the conclusion using logic and your subconscious that, wait a minute, this is poison I'm drinking. It's in a pretty bottle, but I'm drinking poison. I don't want to do that anymore. And once you get to that place where you have made the decision without anyone telling you to, it becomes easy, because it's the same as anything else that you don't do. It becomes like you wouldn't just lie in the sun, covering yourself in olive oil, going, burn me, because you know the consequences. You just wouldn't do it. There's no part of you that would want to do it. Nobody could come up to you and say, hey, why don't you lie in the sun covered in olive oil? It wouldn't make any difference to you. You just wouldn't do it because it's so deeply embedded in your subconscious belief structure that it becomes an unbreakable rule. Same thing about heroin and meth. I don't care how persuasive the individual I'm with is. I don't care how many other people around me are doing it. There is no situation where I would consider injecting myself with heroin. Impossible. Impossible. So deeply embedded in my subconscious is that belief. And it doesn't even have to be dramatic things like that. Smoking. There's no way you could persuade me to smoke a cigarette or to start smoking as a habit, because virtually every one of my family that died of smoking related diseases. All my grandparents died of smoking. My brother-in-law died at the age of 35 from smoking. There's pretty much nothing you can say to me to persuade me. It's so deeply embedded in my belief system. And Kristen, you are in the process of developing that new belief. And when it changes, and there is a switch point, there's a point. When it changes from being something that you're mulling over, a topic that you've given to your subconscious mind to work on, and it will work on it when you're asleep, and slowly over time it'll come up with a solution. And then there will be a flicking of a switch when it changes from being a conscious intention to being a subconscious belief. And Kristen, the way you're going, you're heading towards that. And that's a beautiful moment, because then you don't have to have this tussle. You don't have to go, well, am I being antisocial? Am I going to miss out on the good times? It's just It's like that switch when someone becomes a vegan. It's not easy. There is a period of time when they regret their decision. They worry that they're not going to be able to stick to it. They get tempted. They cheat. But there is a moment when it flicks over to vegan, and that's it. And from that point on, it no longer becomes a problem. So you're heading down the right way. But just to go back to your email here, about how you started the course looking for A, to cut down on drinking. You didn't choose B, to quit drinking. Look, 90% of the people who start the course choose A. Most people start the course thinking, I need to get back in control of my drinking. I need to cut down. It's rare that people are at that stage where they go, I've got to quit drinking completely. And like you said, for the most part, the reason for that is it seems so unthinkable. It seems so improbable that you'll be able to spend the rest of your adult life without alcohol. It just seems crazy. So you start off at A, but slowly B becomes the logical conclusion. And actually, B, to quit drinking completely, is really the only solution, because A is an illusion. It doesn't exist anyway. So if you choose A, you're choosing kind of a mirage, because once you get to the point where you are a problem drinker, or alcoholic, if you want to call it that, you, as I've said many times before, you've passed the event horizon. You've gone through a valve. And once you go through a valve, by design, there is no way back. So it's an illusion to think that you're going to be able to get to this point where you can now choose to have one drink. It doesn't work like that. Once you go through that valve, you are changed as a person forever. And that sounds scary and horrible, but there are so many valve moments in life that we don't even think about them. At some point, you stopped being a child. You went through the valve. You became an adult. There is no way back to being a child. But we don't stress about that. We don't go, oh, how terrible. Oh, the life's not worth living anymore. We just accept it, don't we? Because we know it's the logical conclusion of life. You're a child, you're an adult, you become an old man, you're an old woman, then you die. Now, we might not like to think about it, but these are all valve moments. There is no way back from death and all that sort of stuff. It's the same with alcohol. You can be a happy, social drinker, having one glass of wine, and then it becomes a bottle of wine. You carry on for 10 years, and one day you walk through the valve. You're no longer a social drinker. You are now a problem drinker, and there is no way back. So, option B, to quit drinking, is the logical conclusion, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a beautiful moment in your life, and it's one that is coming to you very soon. Kirsten, thank you very much for your email. If you have questions, email me via the website, stopdrinkingexpert.com. If you're worried about your drinking, do the webinar. You get a free copy of my book, Alcohol Lied to Me, just for turning up. All right. Thanks a lot. See you in the next episode. Worried about your drinking? Reserve your place on today's free Quit Drinking webinar and get a copy of my best-selling book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a gift just for turning up. www.stopdrinkingexpert.com